Students, welcome to our second lesson in PowerPoint. We'll be making a game out of PowerPoint, and that's why the lesson is called Maze Game. When you get into this lesson, you're going to notice that after typing, you have two documents. You have an example document and some instructions. So I'm first going to quickly open up the example document just to give you an idea what we'll be doing in this lesson. You actually do not need to open this document yourself because you're seeing the example right now. While that is loading, I'm also going to open up the instructions and get those loading in the background. So let's go take a look at the example. In the example, I have 4 slides, and these 4 slides are going to make a game. So I'm going to go ahead and go to slideshow and play from the beginning my game. As it starts, you have an introductory slide. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start. And then it will take me to the actual game. And I have to move my mouse around to try to avoid the obstacles like the spinning object, the flying object in the background. And then I need to click this arrow because if you look at the finish, I have something blocking me, so I need to get rid of that blockade. And I'm going to continue to carefully try to get through, and then if I do get to the finish, I will win. Now, you will not have a level 2. It's just if you were going to move on, you could go and do another level. We're going to have a try again button that just has us try again. So now that you see how this game works, I'm going to go ahead and close out of the PowerPoint, and we're going to go over the instructions of how to create your own. With the instructions downloaded, I'm going to go ahead and open up that downloaded version of the instructions so I can follow them as I go through the assignment. I am going to not be reading line for line. I'm just going to kind of give you an idea of how I would get started if you were in class and I was teaching you. These instructions are going to be more of if you get lost on something, you can refer to them. Now, the first thing you're going to need to do is you need to open up PowerPoint. So I'm going to open up PowerPoint. And then as you saw in the example, the game is made out of 4 slides. So I'm going to start with my first slide, and I'm going to type in the title, Maze Game. And then the subtitle is going to be my name. Now, I do need to have a button that I am going to click that's going to take me to the next slide. And I'm going to actually do that now before I create the other slides. And there's a reason for that, which I'll explain after I do so. So I'm going to go to Insert, Shapes, and then you can choose any shape of your choosing to be your buttons. I'm going to choose a heart, and I'm going to put it right up here on the top right. Now, with the shape clicked, just like we learned in the Microsoft Word lessons, in order to type in a shape, you just, even though you don't see a cursor, you just start typing and have faith it's going to work. So I'm going to click in on the shape and type Start. And if I want to change the font of it, I could highlight the font after I type it, and I can use this menu that comes up, or I can go to the Home tab and get that same menu. And I can change the size and the design of it and whatnot. So I'm going to make it a little bigger. Perfect. All right. Now I am going to come over here and right click on my slide, and I have all these options, and I want to duplicate my slide. So I'm going to duplicate it once, then I'm going to duplicate it twice, and then I'm going to get a third time, so I have 4 slides. Now there's a reason why I did this, and that is because we want this start shape to be in the same position in every slide. So for instance, I'm going to go to slide 2, and I'm going to leave it there, but I am going to get rid of all this font because this is where we're going to have our actual maze game. So to get rid of the font, you click on where the text is, and you see the dotted line. Click on the dotted line until it turns solid. And when it turns solid, it means it's selected, and you can hit the delete or backspace button, sorry, the delete button, so not the backspace, the delete button to get rid of it. And then do the same thing with the other text box. Click, make sure you're on the border where it's no longer a dotted line and now it's a solid line, and then hit the delete button on your keyboard. And I got to do it twice actually, so I'm going to do it again. All right, we want that slide to be blank. The third slide, this is going to be the slide it goes to if I lose, or the player playing my game loses. So I'm going to type in you lose and make sure to spell lose right. Here, I don't need this, so I'm going to click on it, hit delete once, click on it again, and hit delete twice and get rid of it. And then up here, I'm going to actually change the text. So instead of saying start, if I lose, it's going to say try again. And if that's too big a font, I can change that font size back down. So maybe for my document, I'll go with the font size of 28 across the board. So I'm going to come back to number 1 I mean, it's up to you the font size. You design the game, but this is how I just want to keep it the same on every text because I like it to be parallel. All right, so we've got slide 1 set up, slide 2, slide 3, and now slide 4. This is if you win the game. So I'm going to type you win. And then I'm going to get rid of this bottom text box I don't need by clicking on the border, hitting delete, and then clicking on it again and hitting delete. And then in this one, I'm going to also change it to 28, and I'm going to change it to say play again if you happen to win. So now I have the basic setup with my 4 slides. I'm going to design my maze game, my you lose, and my you win slide next. So if you need some time, go ahead and pause, but if you're ready to move on, here we go. To get a background, I'm going to actually go insert, and I'm going to insert a big rectangle. And this big rectangle is going to cover up everything. So I'm going to size it and make this rectangle cover everything. And then when I do so, you can see the big rectangle covered up everything. Well, I don't want it to be in front, so I'm going to come over here and hit send backward and send it backward to the very back. And now it's behind all of the images and text and shapes I put in. Now I'm going to take this background rectangle shape and design it. So to do so, I'm clicked on it on the rectangle and I'm in the format tab of the rectangle and I'm going to go ahead and do shape fill. And I can change the color. But I just don't want to do color. I want to maybe do a gradient. Gradient's like a variation of the color changing. I could also do a texture. Or I could do a picture. And this is where you can grab pictures from your computer you can save, or you can go to online pictures, and you can do whatever appropriate picture you would like. I see a lot of students do scary things, or they try to mimic a game they like a lot. Okay, with the online pictures up, I can choose anything I want. Let's just say Jack Skellington, since it's close to Halloween time. And I'm going to grab an image. Ooh, I don't know how these are going to look in my background, though. They might look kind of goofy, but we'll try one. And if you're on the school's computer, you might have an issue with this because some pictures get filtered through the server and then they get blocked. So actually, I'm just going to go grab another picture that I have on my computer to be safe. And I'll grab a picture of my boy because he loves Jack Skellington. All right. So if you don't think your font matches up good with the picture, you can feel free to go and change anything on your font and design it as needed. And remember, you highlight the text. You can go to the Home tab. You can make things bold. You can change their color. On this one, I don't want to do that. I want to actually do the font color. So I'm going to go font. And then I'll make sure I got to highlight it again. I'll make sure that I don't do any color there. And then I'll change it to yellow. So, ooh, yellow doesn't look good. But if there's a color you want, what you can do is you could give it that color, and then we can also work around and maybe instead of doing just normal text, you could put in word art. If you remember, we did word art, and that's where you can do decorative effects to text. So I can come over here and instead of making it look like that, I could go like this and type in maze game with word art and then get rid of that other one. So click on the border. You don't have to be doing what I'm doing. I just want to be able to choose my design, so I'm going to use word art instead. And then with word art, I got tons of more options. Like I could do a shape outline, give it weight, make it, oh, sorry, not shape outline. I want to do text outline. Text outline, give it like a certain weight, give it a color for my text outline. Instead of black, maybe I can make it like bluish or whatever you want to do, or blackish, something like that. But you can mess around by putting in word art instead. So insert word art, and then when you're inside of word art, you have the format tab to go ahead and format your word art as needed. All right, anyways, let's move on. I have my first slide down with its background. I'm going to do the same thing on these other ones. I'm going to go ahead and insert a big rectangle so it takes up the whole background. Then from there, I am going to go and add in some type of shape fill, whatever you choose to do. For time's sake, I'm just going to grab some different colors because I don't want to waste your time watching me put in different things like that. So there's going to be my you win. My you lose, but the problem is it's covering up everything I already had in there. So remember, you can click on the shape and then you can right click and you can send it to the back, or you can use the button there to send it backwards steps. All right, same thing here. I'm going to go to the UN. I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to grab Shapes. I'm going to draw a big, humongous rectangle. I'm going to cover up everything. I don't care when you send it to the back. Just make sure you get it sent to the back, either before or after you change it. And then I'll make the color for the UN like this. And I hate that color, so I got to hurry and change it. It's bothering me. All right, I am done with the first steps of getting all my slides set up. Now it's time to move on to the next step, where we're going to start to create our actual maze in slide number 2. And remember, as I go along, if you get lost or stuck, go ahead and pause and rewind and go back. All right, time to make the game in slide number 2. You are going to do this by going to Insert and Shapes. And you're going to grab the rectangle shape again. And we're also going to make our background first. Remember, the background is if the mouse goes over the background in the game, you lose. So we need to have that background. So I'm going to send it all the way to the back. And I'm going to give this one a texture of, like you saw in my example, something like this. Okay. Now I'm going to continue to insert shapes and rectangles. And I'm going to start to draw rectangles to draw out how my actual maze game is going to go. So I'm just going to keep doing this. And as I do this, I want to give you a reminder that your game needs to be beatable. You can't make it where the rectangles are so small or so impossible that no one can beat the game. I'm going to angle this one. So here's, Control Z to undo, I accidentally grabbed the background. So I can grab shapes and twist them, angle them however I want. I'm going to keep going, and then I'll angle one up like this. So just remember, your game has to be beatable. And now at the end, I'm going to insert another shape of my choosing, and it's going to be the end. So I'm going to put another heart at the end. I'll draw it like this, and it's going to be what you have to get to win the game. So here I'll put end. And then I could highlight the text and change everything like we've gone over multiple times. You go to the Home tab and you can change how you want it to look. So I got my maze game all set up, but it looks hideous. Like you can tell these are different rectangles. I need it to blend in and look like it's all the one same thing. So what you're going to do next is you're going to click on a shape and then go to the Format button. In the Format button, you're going to have your Shape Fill Outline Effects. You can go to Shape Outline and then click No Outline to remove the outline. And you're going to need to do this to every single shape. So I'm going to click on all these rectangles, and I'm going to start to remove the outline. And as we get rid of that black outline, you're going to notice that the shapes come together much better. There we go, I'm almost done, got them all. And then you can kind of move things and adjust them so they look better if you see any problems. I'm also going to make it another adjustment, and that next adjustment is I want to make it so that these are not blue. I want it to have a better looking design. So I'm going to hold down the control button, select one of them, and I'm actually going to select all of them at the same time by holding down the control button. So I'm holding down control, I'm clicking on every single one of these, and then I'm even going to click on my start and my end, and then I'm going to go over to Shape Fill like we already did with the backgrounds, and you can give it a picture, but it will look pretty bad, so I don't recommend doing a picture. I recommend doing a color. You could change the color of them all, or you can give it a texture. So let's give them a texture. I'm going to go with this texture. Now you can see it's all blending in together, and I held down control to do them all at once, so I didn't have to do them one at a time and take forever. Now I'm going to kind of match up everything so it flows better. Here I'm going to remove this shape outline. Another way to do it is you can right click and go outline and then no outline instead of doing it up here. My text doesn't go good with that, so I could highlight my text and also go to the Home tab and change the color of my text to get it what I want it to be like to make it look better. But on that one, I did the background. Remember, this is the text, the other one's the background. So I'll change all those. So I'm highlighting the text, going to the Home tab, finding the text color and changing it. But now my maze game is starting to look like it comes together much better, and the flow of shapes coming together much better, as you can see. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time adjusting it perfectly because I don't want you to watch me just waste time adjusting it. All right, once I get this far and I have my maze game set up, we need to make sure that all the buttons work. For instance, if I was to go into slideshow and start my game from the beginning, nothing works. Like, just if I click anywhere, it's going to take me to the next slide. So we're going to learn how to get all of our buttons to work next. I'm going to start with the first slide. To do so, click on the shape, not the text. I repeat, click on the shape. That whatever shape you click on, you want it to take you somewhere else. With this shape clicked on, I am going to go to the Insert tab, and then I am going to find Links, Action. This pop-up box will appear, and it says, well, what action do you want to do? And first of all, do you want the action to happen when you click on the shape or when your mouse just goes over the shape? Well, I'm going to choose click. So when my mouse clicks on the start shape, where is it going to take me to? So I'm going to say hyperlink me to, and then click on this down arrow, and I'm going to scroll down and choose slide. I'm not going to do next slide, and there's a reason for that. I'll explain it in a sec. I'm going to click slide. When I click on slide, I have an option to see all the slides, and I'm going to click go to slide 2. I'm going to hit OK, so we can see if my mouse clicks on it, it's going to go to slide 2, and I can even have it play a sound and choose a sound. So I'm going to hit OK. Let's go do the next one. Inside of the actual game, you shouldn't have to click on this one because this is where you start your game and move your mouse around. But when you get to the end, I'm going to click on the end shape. I want it to take me to the You Win page. So I'm going to go again, Insert, Links, Action, mouse click. Actually, I'm going to do a mouse over though. So if my mouse just goes over the end, I'm going to say hyperlink me to, and then I'm going to do the drop down, and I'm going to choose slide. And this is why you do slide, because if I hit next slide, it would take me to the You Lose. So I want to be able to specifically change what slide to take me to, and I want to go to the You Win. Then I can give it a sound if I wanted to. All right, on the third slide, the Try Again button. Click on the shape, go to Insert, Action. You could do mouse click, mouse over. I'm going to leave it on mouse click, and then slide. And if I want to try again, I want it to take me back to slide 2. And the same thing in the You Win. Click on the shape, Insert, Action, have it link you to, I want to have mine on mouse click, slide, take me back to the slide game to play again. So now let's go try it. I'm going to hit this button instead of going through slideshow from the beginning. You can hit this button as well to start from the beginning. And when I click on the start button, you can see right now it's an arrow. When I hover over the shape, it turns into a hand. And I can click on it. And then as I move around, I'm not losing yet because I haven't set that up. But if I did get to the end, right when my mouse went over, it took me to the You Win. And I could hit play again to go back. But I haven't gone to the You Lose slides yet to test it because I haven't lost yet. So we still need to go set up the You Lose. I'm going to go back to the second slide. Inside of the second slide, remember that if I touch the background, I'm supposed to lose. So I'm going to click on the background. Then I'm going to go Insert, Action. And I don't want to have to make myself go off to the background and click to make myself lose. That would make no sense. We want to make it mouse over. If my mouse goes over the background, I will lose. So mouse over, I'm going to choose slide. So if my mouse goes over the background, it's going to take me to the You Lose slide. Then I'm going to play a sound that'll make it like an explosion because I lost. There we go. Let's try it now. Play from the beginning. And then if I go over it, I lose, and I'm going to try again. All right, perfect. Now we got those all set up. We are going to be ready for the next video.